Apollo 69.
Good day, everyone.
It's finally time to see one of those movies that I really cannot stand it, but everyone else in the world like, and the darkest research of history. By the lousiest, laziest, stupidest, most manipulative paws of Trek. And let's check out my 5 movies I hate but everyone else like.
And before we get into the countdown, I will not put Freddy Got Fingered with Tom Cruise on my list because my mom told me after I told her all about it at Western Australia, and that's why I mostly agree with her after that. So I actually changed the plans for my list. So, and as always, if you do like these movies, that's fine. And as Josh from Phantomstrider would said, I'm completely wrong demographic of these movies. Just a little bit for the pinch of salt. Anyway, on to the countdown.
Starting with number 5. A Troll in Central Park. God, I hate this Don Bluth movie.
Don Bluth, the director of An American Tail, takes children of all ages.
Hang on, mate. This movie is not take for children for all ages. And I hate this troll, Stanley. He's such a freaking troll moron. Who played by that great American actor named Don DeLuise.
But don't get me wrong, I love Don DeLuise and Don Bluth. And I actually like Don Bluth's other good movies like The Secret of NIMH, The Land Before Time, and All Dogs Go to Heaven from 1 to 2.
But I don't like the Queen of Troll, especially that scene of the ripoff of Alice in Wonderland, when Stanley used his magic green thumb to make the dream boat so he can dream something that actually exists, but that's nuts. But I wish for that waterfall to drown these maniacs, but the boat was flying.
And this movie is making me sick, and the characters are annoying, and the villains are the jokes.
And what's even worse in the end, after when Stanley has rebuilt Central Park with his enchanted powers, and then he enslaved Manhattan into Chameleon's plant life, maybe he should team up with Poison Ivy from Batman. This is just like supervillain stuff. And as Dirk Walker would said, the world's economy is gonna collapse because New York is getting overgrown by a giant hedge. The only plus to this movie is, well, after when that great troll has said to Stanley, have a rotten day, and then he sings, I'm a bad troll, that was very charming and hilarious to listen.
I'm a bad troll, a very bad troll. La, 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 la.
And I made this grave picture of Don, and we miss you so much, Don. You're one of the great actor, and your character, Itchy, from All Dogs Go to Heaven, will live on. And rest in peace, Don DeLuise.
And for number 4, Deck the Halls.
As a kid, I used to like this movie, but as a teenager, after I watched that review from Nostalgia Critic, and I also started to agree with him about Deck the Halls, and then Deck the Halls has actually just changed my mind, and now it actually brings me in the Christmas mean spirit.
Don't get me wrong, I love Matthew Broderick, the same actor who's played as Simba from The Lion King, and Adam from B-Movie. And I love Danny DeVito as well. I like his other characters, like the Lorax from Dr. Seuss' The Lorax 2012, the Penguin from Batman Returns, and Mr. Sledgehammer from Space Jam, but all except Harry Wormwood from Matilda. One of my favorite TriStar Pictures movie from 1990s. But unfortunately, Buddy has spilled the petrol oil all over the Christmas trees with a chainsaw, which has made Steve accidentally cut it and make the trees on fire.
And the joke like this is playing weak. Because of when that camel has spit Steve in the face of when he was have his mission, that was really gross.
However, they sent Buddy's Christmas lights and it sent bright up to the space in the end, but it's not enough to save this Christmas movie. And for the number 3...
Stupid Kevin!
You!
Kiss this, Kevin!
Fred the Movie Trilogy. Really? These awful Nickelodeon movies? Well, as Josh would said, imagine if the most annoying internet personality in the world made a movie that celebrated all the high-pitched, headbang, infuriating stupidity ever placed on YouTube. That's right, Fred made 3 movies. Yes, apparently the sitcom that scarfed the reputation for the entire network wasn't enough. And Lucas had a spin-off series called Morphin, which was brainlessly stupid. And he was the teenage alien from the Planet Clutoon, and he was even more worse as Fred Frankenhorn from the show and the movie.
Hello, I'm Marvin, the human boy!
These 3 movies annoyed me to watch because since when I showed my plushies of Paw Patrol characters, when I skipped the whole scenes, when it annoys them as well, it's just like after when I saw the whole scenes from Fred 1 to 3 movies many weeks ago. And what seems to be when Fred is stalking the girl named Judy, who's completely both blind and deaf, but now put out a shotgun at him the second she sees or hears him. And that was a whole plot, really. And Josh's problem is that Fred doesn't fit into any real category of hero, anti-hero, or even villain. The only persona Lucas Cruikshank, who plays Fred, was annoying. There was no doubt for all of us just want this character succeed. The best part of watching the first movie remains that Fred has smashed his head in the wall. In fact, I like the remix, who created by Josh Strider. Fred from 1 to 3 is not a comedy films. It's just this constant squeal of noise films continually erupting from my iPad. If you and the entire audience just want this character dead by the end of the 3rd movie.
But the only interesting character that I like is Mr. Frankenhorn, Fred's father, who played by John Cena.
Yeah, I'm the real fan of John Cena from WWE, and now today he was the American superstar actor. But I wouldn't mind for Annoying Orange vs. Fred episode on episode Annoying Orange. I found it okay. But at Fred 2, Nights of the Living Fred drew 5.7 million unsuspecting viewers, and it brings me the Halloween mean spirit. And finally at Fred 3, Camp Fred is something I associate with the worst of the high-pitched internet fatness too. Right up there with Annoying Orange. Okay, so Fred has signed up for camp I Want a PP, and I feel disgusting and dirty just say that title, just like Josh said. Why Fred's cheapskate mother sent her child to the place called that? I would said I was hard on Lucas, well, but now I'm not. Even today, Lucas has continued popularity of his YouTube videos. That's actually, he finally broken Josh Strider a little, and it actually upset me a little.
And as Josh would said, it's not the size of your audience what matters. What matters is each individual you affect.
And I know so many reviewers, especially people and especially kids, will deserve even more better than that. Even more the original. And you know what, somewhere, Lucas? Your 3 freaking movies has failed. Fred the movie 1, 2, Nights of the Living Fred, and 3, Camp Fred will torture you for hours and break your eardrums than your spirit. And the number 2 movies I hate but everyone else like is Maximum Overdrive.
I know, but I actually have to explain to you all. It's very close to my number 1.
I only think there's only one worse movie that I hate the most than this. As our buddy Doug Walker would said, this movie is like B-movie and it's turned out bad. And what did that guy say on the trailer?
I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself. I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
Yeah, but mates, Stephen King's actually hate this movie and it's very scary and terrified and silly. I also is just not a fan of horror movies. But I like the evolutions of killers from till it animated. As a kid, I actually saw the Steamroller scene, and now I made the moving pictures of this movie. But I like the Steamroller scene from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, A Fish Called Wanda, and Austin Powers. Don't get me wrong, I like Stephen King's, just while I hate this movie too. And he just wants to make people laugh. And I like the music from this movie by AC/DC. And the best part of watching this movie is the trucks that are starting round the circles through the petrol station. And I like the Ring Around the Pussies music, who created by Doug Walker.
Here we go round the idiot stop. It's loaded with plots whose IQs have dropped. I think you'll need some peppermint schnapps to get through this damn movie.
And before we get into number 1, here's some of the quick dishonorable mentions.
Alpha and Omega 3, The Great Wolf Games. I am really loathe this sequel, especially the second movie and the whole sequels of this franchise. But I wouldn't mind for Alpha and Omega, the first movie, since the first time I watched it on Netflix years ago, I actually thought the animation was creative and heartwarming, and I like Humphrey and Kate's howling when they're on the train, and it's easy on the ears. And I miss Golf and Lily, since we haven't seen them for whole sequels. But on this sequel, for this pup, whose name was Fleet, it's a stupid name. And the animation was abysmal, and Brent is so annoying whenever he was crying. Like this. And also, Bobsheaux covered it way better than I actually did. And I will rename this sequel Alpha and Omega 3, The Dumbest Wolf Games. Pinocchio. Don't get me wrong, I love Disney Pinocchio from 1940 because it's have the 100% Rotten Tomatoes of a high score, and it's awesome and it's creative and heartwarming. But this live-action remake of Pinocchio have the lowest score of the critics. And the entire movie has got all wrong for Disney. And Pinocchio's father, who was played by Tom Hanks. And I feel bad for Tom about this movie because he was the amazing American actor who was played as Woody from Toy Story when I grew up with. Same as Tim Allen's, who play as Buzz Lightyear. Since the first time I saw this trailer on Disney Plus 2 years ago at school, I actually thought it's gonna be more creative, just like the original. But I haven't watched the full movie before. But now, I found this movie terrible and poorly acting, and I will give this movie F-.
Anyway, on to number 1.
And finally, my number 1 movies I hate but everyone else like is FoodFight.
Oh, Oh, I'll make space.
Oh my joyful happiness, genius overgod! This villain looks hideous! Who played by Christopher Lloyd, the same actor who is played as Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future Trilogy, one of my favorite time-traveling adventure movies. And the entire movie is just make everyone crap their pants. And this character as Indiana Bone, who is played as Charlie Sheen.
The real secret is I am scared out of my mind, Dan. Tonight's the night.
Nah, no worries. You can do it. As long as you got me to help you. Did I mention me?
Oh my god, make it stop! I can't take this anymore. This is the actor who plays Charlie from 2.5 Men, one of my all-time favorite sitcom show. How do you get this terrible animated movie low? Well, it's because the original version on the hard drive has been robbed and stolen since 2002.
And I'll tell you how, it's that goddamn Indiana Bone!
Yeah, that freaking moron detective named Dex.
He's the cause about all this, and I am gonna give him a piece of my mind!
Hello, this is Dex.
Dex, how dare you destroy that great American actor with your mere existence of grocery store?
Oh, I didn't, William. I saved the kittens from the big fat rat burglar.
Yeah, but could you actually make it a little more talented and charm to it? I mean, this is very creepy.
But I'm just a mascot from my cereal box from Mr. Leonard's grocery store.
I know. Maybe I should hang up here and make sure I will go nowhere with you.
And I like you, kid.
Oh god, there's more movie.
I know so many reviewers already talk about the death of this one, but this time I will talk about it, since it wants it will bring an abomination that will pronounce to the world. Since I agree with Phantomstrider, and Nostalgia Critic, and John Tron, this entire movie is catastrophe, and it's made me feel bad for Charlie Sheen and Christopher Lloyd, and the whole actors, since they will try their best for their amazing acting, and they would deserve even better than this lousy cinematic train wreck. And I'm gonna say this right, the animation was awful, the character design was ugly, and the jokes are terrible, and the lines had made no sense. And there was no doubt for me, and I considered FoodFight one of my absolute least favorite movie of all time. You know what? Let's just move on from this awful, ugly, creepiest animated train wreck.
And sadly, and as Josh would said, they're always made the badly written cash-in movies. But they actually create some movie, they try to explore humor, people, life, and emotion. And you know about Maximum Overdrive that I really cannot stand it of it. But I know if you do like that movie. But there's some 5 perfect horror movies that I really like. And yes, I actually recommend Terminator from 1 to 2, RoboCop, and Jaws from 1 to 2. I actually recommend these 5 horror movies as a perfect horror movies. And there's some good teenagers and adults movies out there which is pleasant to me to watch, like
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, The Wizard of Oz, Marvel's Avengers, Fantastic Beasts, and Harry Potter, as long as there are people.
And then Paw Patrol the Mighty movie is going to release until about this September. And what's even more, you actually already heard from the video before, that Chris Rock has joined for the cast of Paw Patrol the Mighty movie. And yes, and I am looking forward to see that on Nickelodeon movie. Do you think you have your own movies that you hate but everyone else like? If you thought so, leave your own thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.